Hello all you lovely lads, last season those of unspecified gender, it's the Irishman here, and today I'm going to be talking about what would have happened if Goku married Android 18. This is the 7th part to this what if, and if you have not already seen the other 6 parts, I would greatly recommend you go check those videos out before coming back to this one. Our story begins with Goku training with Gohan with Whis, who would be trying to teach them both how to fully control God Ki. Although Gohan didn't want to get the Super Saiyan God or Blue transformations, he did still want to get a mastery over God Ki, as either way that does make him more powerful, and Ultimate Gohan here would be far stronger than his canon counterpart, by a long mile. You might be wondering why Gohan would have Ultimate here when I haven't given it to him in any other parts. Well, that's because Gohan would want to train with the Supreme Kai a bit before going on to actually training with the God of Destruction. He wants to be able to find his own path to power, and while training with the Supreme Kai and his attendant Kibito, he'd be able to find that. While training with the Z-Sword, he would accidentally break it, unleashing the Elder Kai, who would perform a ritual on him to allow him to access a brand new form. A form that allows him to use every last bit of his potential. Gohan would then return to Beerus' planet to begin his training for real, now that he knows what path he wants to go down, using the ultimate form and evolving his potential rather than gaining some new flashy transformations like Super Saiyan God or Blue. He would train with Whis, growing alongside his father, who has gained full mastery over his godly side, being able to use Super Saiyan God whenever he wants, as well as evolving the form. And he would have even tried to activate Super Saiyan on top of the God form. It's a bit of a stretch, but he thinks he can do it. He hasn't really had any practice with it yet, but he's pretty sure he would be able to do it eventually. But as the three are training, Whis would get a call on his staff from Bulma, who's offering a delicious, ice creamy treat if he were to bring the two Saiyans back to Earth, and, well, you know Whis, he's willing to take the bribe. Although, Goku and Gohan would hear something over Whis' staff that Bulma would be saying. Frieza had returned, even stronger than ever, and is absolutely slaughtering the Z-Cast. They're not sure if they'd be able to make it, but with Goku and Gohan's help, maybe they stand a chance. Knowing how big of a threat Frieza is, Goku and Gohan would both demand that Whis bring them back to Earth immediately. And so they would. Although Beerus, not wanting to be left behind in the whole treat department, would demand that Whis brings him along as well. After all, Whis is Beerus' attendant. Whis doesn't go anywhere unless the god says so. Once the three of them arrive on the planet, they would see Piccolo, Raditz, Vegeta, and Nappa fighting against Frieza, who is incredibly powerful, just in his final form alone. He's able to take on Earth's 4 strongest warriors with no problem at all. How is Frieza this powerful? It just doesn't make sense. Goku and Gohan would step in, telling the other 4 to head to the sidelines before they get hurt, and although Vegeta is a bit reluctant, the other 3 would practically drag him away. Then Goku and Gohan, powering up into Super Saiyan each respectively, would try and fight off Frieza, and surprisingly he's even able to take them on in Super Saiyan, which is a bit shocking. But then, Frieza would say that he's been hiding something from the group, and he feels just awful about it, before backing up and powering up into his golden form. Then Goku would say that he has too, before doing the same, stepping back and activating Super Saiyan Blue. Gohan would power up into Ultimate, wanting to get this over with as quick as possible, and then the father and son duo would jump Frieza, although somehow he's keeping up. Golden Frieza is far more powerful here than he was before, because Frieza here knows the benefits of training. He did some light work before, preparing for the Super Saiyan, but after he died and came back, he realized just a little bit of training, even 4 months, wouldn't be enough. So he trained for an entire year, which, well, might seem like a bit of overkill, but it definitely worked. Now, Goku and Gohan, although still incredibly powerful even while working together, can't seem to fight off Frieza. He's just too strong. Eventually, Frieza would knock Goku out of Super Saiyan Blue, pinning him to the ground, stepping on his head, smashing it into the rubble. Then, he would look over to Gohan, shooting a death beam through both of his arms, practically paralyzing him. Then he would look back over to the group of side characters and tell them that, they aren't even worth his time. Although, why not? Then, Frieza would use a death slicer to cut through each and every one of them. Beerus would have protected people like Bulma and the people close to him, but everyone else on the sidelines, yeah, they were killed. Raditz, Vegeta, Nappa, Piccolo, well, maybe not Piccolo because he can regenerate, but still, even Videl and Pan, her infant daughter, Gohan's infant daughter, they were killed by this monster. Gohan would look on at Frieza with a blinding rage as he would scream out in absolute terror and pain before powering up into a new strength he has never even thought possible. Gohan would enter the beast form. Everyone would look on with awe at Gohan's insane new power, although he would just look at Whis, telling him to reverse time, except leave himself and Frieza unaffected. He has some things he needs to work out. And Whis would do just that, reversing time a few minutes, and then bringing back everyone Frieza had killed, although Gohan and Frieza still remember everything that happened. Then, utilizing the power of the beast form, Gohan would pummel Frieza into the ground. The lizard man would begin to beg for mercy, although Gohan would say that he's fresh out, before throwing Frieza into the air, then launching a double Masenko to completely eviscerate him. Frieza is killed, once and for all. As Gohan is still fuming from everything that happened, the revenge he just got not quite satisfying him, 18 would walk over, comforting her son and wrapping him in a warm embrace, telling him that everything is going to be alright, saying that he stopped the bad guy and saved the day. He really is the superhero of this story, giving a light chuckle. Gohan would begin to calm down, even going out of his beast form, powering back down into base. Sorbet would attempt to use his laser gun to shoot Gohan and avenge his master, but nope, Gohan would turn around and launch his own laser straight at Sorbet, killing him and truly saving the day. And then, after spending some much needed time with their families, Goku and Gohan would go back to training on Beerus' planet. Gohan mastering his beast form, being able to use it whenever he needs, and Goku mastering Super Saiyan Blue, even being able to use a sort of God to Blue switch. After a while, Champa would arrive on Beerus' planet. The twin brother of the God of Destruction would, for one reason or another, demand to host a tournament to decide who gets the Super Dragon Balls. Honestly, that conversation basically goes the same as in the original, so there's not really any point in covering it. Also, I don't really remember it all that well. Then we would go into the Universe 6 vs 7 arc, and I actually think we could have a bit of fun with this. The first match would be between Goku and Botamo, and, well, frankly, that goes the same as in the original. There's no point in really covering that fight as it was pretty lackluster. Then Goku vs Frost, and honestly, I see Goku faring much better here, having a more serious demeanor as well as having a more get-things-done attitude. Goku wouldn't actually risk anything with Frost, especially after just fighting against a version of Frieza. Frost is basically just Frieza 2.0 in Goku's eyes. Not to be racist, it's just he doesn't really trust anybody that looks like Frieza. Then Goku would power up into Super Saiyan God and one-punch Frost, knocking him out of the arena as well as knocking him out cold. Then, for the next match, Goku vs Kaba, well, I actually think Goku handles this better than Vegeta. As well as teaching him how to use Super Saiyan, Goku would also teach him how to activate Super Saiyan 2. Goku has had much more time training people on how to actually activate the Super Saiyan forms, so he'd probably be able to do it better than Vegeta, although Goku wouldn't use the same harsh methods. Then Goku would fight against Vegeta, and he'd probably just do the same thing that Vegeta did, eventually getting a bit ticked off, and while Goku has a few insults he could use. Nothing as rude as Vegeta, but he'd still find something. Now it's time for the real meat and potatoes of this arc. Goku versus Hit. Goku would start off by using his base form, testing how Hit's powers work, before then going into Super Saiyan God, realizing his base power just will not be enough. Using Super Saiyan God, Goku is able to get a better understanding of how Hit works, before then powering up into Super Saiyan Blue to really try and beat off Hit. Or, a better choice of words than the ones I just used. Goku would then power up into Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, saying he realizes Hit is definitely a strong opponent, and if he wants to stand a chance, he really can't hold anything back. And Goku in Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken is actually a pretty fair match against Hit, although Goku would say he hasn't really mastered this power, and he'd prefer not to put his life on the line just for winning a tournament, especially when he knows even if Goku loses, there's somebody else that would be able to beat Hit no problem. Before then jumping out of the arena and calling in Gohan to be the one to fight. Immediately after stepping into the ring, Gohan would sense Hit's power, realizing he is the real deal, before powering up into Ultimate and fighting against Hit, who is a bit battle-worn from his last battle, and even Ultimate Gohan is enough to push Hit to his limits. But then, once Gohan goes into Beast form, well, it's all over for the time-skipping assassin. He would land one hit on Hit, and that's enough to actually knock him clean out, then walking over to the ring and tossing him back to Champa, saying that next time, bring somebody who's a real challenge for Universe 7. And Champa is enraged, threatening to go down there and erase that arrogant Saiyan right now, although Beerus would laugh, saying he's not even really sure if he could. Gohan might actually have surpassed him. Champa would laugh this off, saying that his brother's just joking, he's just making a funny, he's just kidding. But Beerus would retort by saying that yes, of course he's just kidding. Or is he? But as Beerus begins to laugh himself, he would immediately turn to a look of horror, as the Omni King would appear in the middle of the arena with his two guards standing by his side. Now, I honestly feel like most of this interaction with Zeno and Goku and Beerus and all of them probably goes about the same as before, except Goku is a bit less stupid, as Stupid Super Goku would instead be replaced with Goofy Dad Goku, who would probably have a bit of the same impression on Zeno, and the two would become friends, and even begin talking about having another tournament someday. Now, funnily enough, there wouldn't be much of a story after this point. The only real arcs we have left are the Tournament of Power and 2 manga canon arcs, which I have read the manga. In fact, I'm actually all the way caught up, but I don't remember it good enough to actually speak on it. So the Tournament of Power is the only part we have left. You might be wondering about the Goku Black arc, but that arc just wouldn't happen. First off, because the original reason for it actually happening was absolutely absurd and completely stupid, but here it would make even less sense for it to happen because there'd be much less time traveling. Trunks would really have only made 2 round trips, one to the past to deliver all the news about the androids and the heart virus medication, but then, after realizing the androids wouldn't be a threat here because the team was smarter than in the original, Goku and the rest would have just went back with Trunks to rehabilitate the androids in his future. Then, after that happens, well, they just kind of go back to the past, and then Trunks goes back to the future on his own. Problem solved. And there would also be no time traveling with Cell because, well, he would never have actually time traveled. In fact, Cell in the future timeline will be taken out because there'd be no reason for Bulma to try and actually reboot the androids as well as Cell in the future. So, future Cell's killed, present Cell is a good boy who basically is just part of the Briefs family and was told to stay behind with Goten and Trunks while the Resurrection F saga was going on, so there was really no need for any time traveling to happen, and Zamasu wouldn't get upset, so he's just kind of still making tea for Gowasu until he becomes the Supreme Kai. and a pretty good one at that after he gets over his hatred of mortals. So for the next year or so, Goku and Gohan would continue training, increasing their power, as well as evolving their forms even further. Gohan really wouldn't have a way to evolve his beast form, but being able to get a better mastery over God Ki and adding that to the beast form would certainly make it stronger. And Goku would actually unlock Ultra Instinct a lot earlier than before, as Whis would be focusing on Goku a lot more than Gohan. He already knows what he's going after and evolving, so now it's time for Goku to start going down his own path, evolving into Ultra Instinct. And he'd actually be able to master Ultra Instinct Omen and use it basically at will. Now training with Gohan, the two would get incredibly powerful. And this is good timing, in fact, perfect timing, as Zeno is about to hold a tournament to determine who is the strongest universe, and which universe will get to survive. And that's where we're going to be ending things for today. I hope you enjoyed watching this, as I certainly enjoyed making it, and if you could, please like the video, subscribe to the page, and hit the notification bell, that way you're notified whenever I release any new videos. That would be very much appreciated. Thank you so very much for watching. This is, always has been, and always will be the Irishman. Talk to you later. Bye.